Good evening. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heart Support Australia's Heart Support Connect for 2025. I'm Christian Badicchio, Chief Executive Officer, and with me tonight, we do have a great lineup indeed. I'd like to take this opportunity to present our speaker for the evening, Dr. Wendy Shi. She is a registered nurse by background, and she'll be making a presentation today around titled How to Set Goals and Action Plans for a Healthy Heart. As a brief background for Dr. Shi, I think you can see here on the screen, she's a graduate clinician researcher and full-time research assistant within the Solve CHD team based in the Charles Perkins Centre at the University of Sydney. She's published extensively, more than 16 peer-reviewed journals, and she's previously completed a first-class honours bachelor's degree in nursing. She has been a registered nurse in Australia for 10 years and a registered nurse in China for 3 years, and has special clinical background and research interest in cardiovascular disease nursing, secondary prevention, and cardiac rehab. In addition, her current research project has focused on educational interventions for cultural and linguistic diverse groups with coronary heart disease living in Australia. Bit of a background there. In 2023, she recently received a 2023 Cardiovascular Nursing Prize at the Cardiac Society Annual Conference. And her first author paper was downloaded in the top downloaded papers in 2022 in the European Journal of Cardiovascular Nursing. So a really interesting topic tonight. We're glad to have Wendy a part of the Heart Support Australia Heart Support Connect presentation team. We're thankful, obviously, for the collaboration and partnership we have with the Solve CHD group, where they do provide these speakers across our sessions over the last year and now also this year. And so without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Wendy Shi to take over, and she'll give a comprehensive presentation around 25-30 minutes, and then there'll be the opportunity to ask any questions you may have. Feel free to ask those questions through the group chats, and I can facilitate those as we go towards the end. Just as a reminder, this is also recorded for our YouTube channels, and we circulate this across our program network through our peer support groups and hospital patient visitors across Australia. So, Wendy, pleasure to have you. I will now hand it over to you, and enjoy your presentation.
Thank you, Christian. I was just going to try to share my slides. And please let me know if you have trouble to see my slides. Yeah, otherwise I will just begin from here. So good evening, everyone. Very nice to be meeting everyone, and except Bob, I've been meeting you in person in Canberra. And thank you all for your time to join us today on our half-an-hour session. Have the topic about how to set goals for a healthy heart. So as I previously know, many of you have a heart condition in your life. You could be taking some medication, or you may already underwent a big surgery. So any of the heart-related experience, I hope you may find beneficial from this session. So by the end of this session, you will be able to understand how to write vision, goals, and action plans. And you will also know where to find some resources to help you with goal setting and action planning. The self-management action we recommend with this session is to create an action plan to help achieve your goal in healthy behavior activities. To take control of your health, you may need to make changes in your daily life. And these changes could including all those kind of different health behaviors. For example, if you want to achieve the goals to sleep better, eating healthier, have a better, more regular exercise level, or if you want to better manage your stress, or taking your medications as prescribed by your local doctor. So research tells us that One of the best ways to take control and make changes in your life is to learn how to set goals and making action plans. Here on this slide are 3 simple steps to make a change. First of all, you need to create a vision for yourself in the near future. And second, you need to choose one goal to work that will help you achieve your vision for yourself, and followed by building the weekly action plans to help you achieve your goal. So it may be helpful to think about the work you have been doing so far in your daily life or in your recovery journey. For example, many of you are exercising, so this could be a goal. And using the action plan on your weekly exercise diary to write your intention for this week, this will be your action plan. And what we have not talked about yet is how the goal of the exercise relates to the vision you have for yourself for the future. So here is something that you might find helpful to create your vision, your goal, and your action plan. So here is a booklet. The title is Setting Goals for a Healthy Heart. That it's free access and also free downloadable from the Cardiac College website. So this is created by a group of researchers from the University of Toronto. And inside this booklet, you will be guided through each step with questions to answer.
Wendy,
Yes.
I just cut out there for a little bit with the sound, just making sure it came through, that's all.
You can hear me,
Yep,
right?
perfect. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. So just so for your vision of yourself, it needed to be the big picture of what you want to feel like and to be like, and also to be able to do. And to come up with a vision, think about the future and answer these questions. What is your best self? And what do I want to feel like in the future? What do I want to look like in the future? And what do I want to be doing differently in the future? So for example, your vision could simply be, I want to feel better and play with my grandkid again. So think about your vision in the future, could be in the next 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. And what do you see yourself doing? And how will you be feeling? Are you healthier? And if it is, how do you know? And who are you surrounded by? So creating a vision, seeing where we want to go, give us a sense of purpose and direction. And it will answer the question, why am I doing all of this work? And why do I exercise 5 days each week? Why do I choose nutritious food to eat? And why do I take my heart medicines every day? What is all about that? So one of the good strategy to create your vision is to write it down. Or if some people, if you are more visualized, you may find it helpful to create a picture about it. You can take time at home to do this if you like. You do not have to be an artist to make a picture. You can just draw the symbols to represent what is your vision is like, or you can just use your photographs and to make the whole vision. So now let's start to work on helping you moving forward to that vision. And how we're doing by that is by setting the goals and writing the weekly action plan. So once you have an idea of your vision yourself, you may need to make changes in your life to reach your vision. And setting goals for the changes you can make can help you reach them. So the goals, the different definition is they are the things you need to do to achieve your vision. So how can you set a better goal? You need to ask yourself, what do I have to do to achieve my vision? What kind of change in your life has to happen? Am I ready to make this change? So a good goal is always specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So what would we mean by specific is you do need to write it down the details. So it cannot be just a vague goal. And you need to make sure it is measurable. So how do you know you actually reach your goal or not? And can you do what it takes to reach your goal? Is it too difficult for you? And make sure it is something like you want to do. It is relevant to you and to your current circumstance. And also, when do you plan on reaching this goal? Have you given yourself enough time? So this is what you need to make sure is this is a goal that will help you move towards your vision. So pick one goal to start with. You are more likely to achieve your goal if you believe it is important, you can do it, and you are ready to start. So this is why it is important to pick something small to start with. And pick one goal. After that, the final step is to build the weekly action plan to help you achieve this goal. So if this change is not important to you, so if you see the bottom of this slide, there is a scale from 1 to 10. So every time after you make your goals and your action plan, you need to measure how important and also how confident you can do about the goal and the action plan. So if you think this change is not important to you and you are not feeling like you have the confidence to do it, then it might not be the right goal for you now. So instead, you need to choose something else or change the goal so that you feel it is something you can do. So for example, if you want to set a goal to work 5 days per week, but you are not confident you can do that, then try 3 days per week instead. And if you believe it is important and you feel you can do it, then you are more likely to be ready to work on this goal and do it well. So once you have set your goal, you need to build an action plan to get towards to your goal. So this divides your goal into smaller steps. The action plans are the behaviors and actions you will take to reach your goal. So those action plans, they are more detailed, monitored regularly, usually weekly, action-based, so they outline what you will do and related to the goal you have set. So create an action plan each week will help you to achieve your goal. So in your action plan, what kind of question can help you? How will I achieve the goal? What am I going to do? When, where, how much, and or how often? I know it may be sounds a little bit difficult when you first start to thinking about how to build an action plan, but here is some an example like hopefully can help you to have an idea about how you can create your action plan. So for example, your weekly action plan is about the exercise because you want to improve your goal as improve your exercise level. So this week, you could set your action plan like what you can put in work. So if you want to work as the step to improve your physical activity. And when you want this walking to be taken, so it could be after dinner, it could be during the day. So that's where you put in the second line about when. Inside a park. And then you need to think about how much of the walking you want to do on that day. So it could be 15 minutes or half an hour or even 1 hour. It really depends on your daily activity like in the past and how much you want to do the improvement. And finally, you need to think about how often you want to do it. Do you want to do it every single day for 7 days a week? Or if you want to just to try with 3 days a week because you want to make sure it's achievable. And at the bottom, you can see there is a confidence rate. So how confident you think you can do this plan? So from a scale of 1 to 10, ask yourself, do you feel confident that you can achieve 3 days per week, 15 minutes walk every day of that 3 days around the block of where you live after dinner to do the walking? So if your rate is 7 or above, it is more likely for you to achieve this action plan for the week. But if it is below 7, that's 6 or even under, then you may need to think, this is not the plan that is that achievable. I'm not very confident to work on this action plan. Then what you can do is to make a little bit more change. The change doesn't mean like you have to change to a completely different action plan. It could be just some small changes towards how much, how often, or even where. For example, this week you just want to work from home, or if this week is most raining days, so you may need to change your exercise to be walk just around home, and then it could be, and also it could be it's just only going to happen for 2 days instead of 3 days a week. Yeah, so you can make all those slight changes just based on the confidence level. So once you try people, I will experience the same thing. So if that happens, you can actually get help from a lot of different people. It could be from your family, your friends, or even your local GP, or your cardiac rehab program if you're attending one, or even from your local peer support group. So on a regular basis, you need to think about how did you did with your previous action plan, and ask yourself what has went well with the last week action plan, what did not go as planned, and if you achieved your action plan. Well, if you did, then that's great. That we can now moving towards to a new plan for the coming week to keep moving towards your goal. But if there's something got in the way of achieving your plan, but please do not worry. This may happen sometime, and it is important to prepare for the times when the things did not go as planned. An important skill to learn here is how to do the problem solve and continue move towards your goal. So what do I do when my action plan does not go as planned? So you may find that every single week, it may not always go as planned, and which is completely normal. So here is the steps you can follow when it is not go as planned. So first of all, you're trying to find what is the problem. So what has stopped you from doing your action plan this last week? And then you can try to, for a quick brainstorm and come up with some ideas or other ways to achieve your plan. You can write down, make a list, and then seeking help from other people around you, like your family, your friends, or some health professional if you can ask for. So the other important concept I want to talk about today is about the relapse planning. So most people make a change in their lifestyle will have a relapse. So when they slip back into the old habit at some point. So it is important to be prepared for this very normal part of making a lifestyle change and setting a goal. The relapse often happen when you travel or go on holiday. If you get sick, like you have some other condition, or you went to operation, or if you go through the life stress, or other big things that happen to your life, such as house moving, changing jobs. So it is important to be prepared for a relapse. So think about the reasons you wanted to reach this goal is the key to your success. So remind yourself why you wanted to reach this goal each time you feel like you can't do it or something get into the way. So now we want to talk about how you can get back on track after a relapse happens. So first of all, you need to think to yourself why it is important to make a change and set a goal. Think back to what actually is your motivation to make this change happening and set the goal in your life. Why is it important for you to keep the goal going? And second, you want to think how important is this goal right now? You have to rate how important this goal to you from a scale of 1 to 10 because you have a change of the circumstance. The goal which important to you before this could not be able to do it after or at the moment. So this could be the time of the time. You have to think about reset your goal and action plans. And of course, you also needed to know how important are you to achieve this goal, and also do a rating about from scale 1 to 10 if you still be able and confident to do it. So the last thing about this session is about the reflection. So take a moment to see what you have learned in the session, and you can try to write it down. To these slides, we can have a session you want to share with us about, and this will help you to remember what you have learned. Also think about what you've learned that you're not sure or confused about. And if you're not comfortable share with the group now, you may share in your local in-person peer support group with your family, friends, your close ones. And it will be easier to achieve your goal and take actions when you are accountable to someone by progress to keep you accountable. To your in-person, you can also choose to sign up a digital peer support group. So in that chance, you can share with a wider group of people as you, and also ask questions to health professionals, and also my colleagues. And we will be more than happy to help you to achieve your personal goal and also share additional resource with you that you can use. So that's all about the session I have today. So I'm now going to change it back to Christian.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wendy, for an insightful presentation. Feel free to hand me over and make me a host. You can just hover over my my image and just make the click there. That's quite easy. I guess I'd like to get started in terms of setting goals. This is kind of a new thing, really, for people to do or think more about, really. And when people go to appointments and see their medical professionals, there's a lot of questions there that they might write down and ask. In terms of the practicality of setting goals and thinking differently, what are some of your experiences? Do you think that's and you may have covered this in the presentation, but just to highlight it more, do you think that people need to write down their goals? Can they be just mentally thought out? Should they share the goals with their medical practitioner? Are they goals that merely they need to decide upon and do it themselves? I guess, it can be a big burden being diagnosed with heart disease and then going to see a medical practitioner, going to get treatment done, going to get this done, then asking about setting goals and doing exercise. So how does it kind of fit into the scheme of things if you had to think about perhaps an ideal situation?
Yeah, I think it is. Thank you. I think it's a very important question and very practical. Like a lot of patients or yeah, everyone will facing this kind of issue because we know like doctor, the specialist that they have very tight time to for each standard consultation. So one of the thing about writing it down is actually, for my experience, is to keep yourself organized. It could be write down not only just your action plan, your goals, but also like even just your medication, what kind of questions you want to ask the either your GP or your doctor or your nurse. So and in addition to like your medication, your blood pressure level, I think if you also can write down if you got any troubles to set like your goals and your action plan, you may can also ask them the question like, what can I do? Because not all the action plans and the goals are achievable only by yourself. For example, what if I want to improve my blood pressure level? So maybe that's the things your doctor can help you with. So I think it is always a good thing to organize, and then when you are have so many questions you want to ask the doctor at the same time, just to make sure yeah, I think that that could be the way to solve the problem. But also in addition to that, also if you have a chance, even to talk to the pharmacist, when you just to take the medication, maybe they have time to help you a little bit more, just in addition, or any of the allied health. It's just actually like I keep in mind, like every time if you have that chance to talk to a health professional, they can all help you towards to help you to improve your action plan and also the goal you've set for yourself.
Oh, thanks for that. Appreciate it. I don't think we have any questions that I've seen pop up through the chat. I will ask one more. I guess when we think about some of goal setting, and when we think about aiming for a healthy heart, is this how is this something that we should be people should be sitting down and reviewing every 6 months, every 12 months? Obviously, we always talk about goal setting and rearranging goals. Given perhaps some of the people in this area may be older people, never kind of done this thing before. How do we go about just perhaps setting goals that may take 2 or 3 years to achieve? I mean, one kind of goal that always comes to mind is weight loss. These things take time. And I think every New Year's everyone has a resolution to lose weight and never does it. So I guess, how can we go about, making goals really practical or even more achievable, even if it means taking time to achieve them, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the slide I've been present is about to make your how to make a better goal, and I've been share with the tips which we call it SMART. So it is to make sure like your goal is very specific, it is measurable, it is achievable, it's relevant to you, and it's timely. So, in terms of your question about how often we should to review the goal and your action plan, usually we go from the your vision. So it could be changeable. It is more like a long term. It could be like 1 year, 2 year, and 5 year. But also your goal also could be like long term and your short term. And for the action plan, what we recommend is like every week, you actually have a review and reflection on the previous week action plan to see if there's some detail, small things you can do that change. For example, like how often and also how much. So if you didn't, you know, exercise for 5 days in last week, so what about let's try for 3 days or 4 days? Or and also about the amount, like if you cannot do the resistant training, it's too a big thing for you, it's very new. What about instead of half an hour, you can try for 15 minutes. And there's always like people around you like you can seeking help with. So apart from the health professional, we also have like the peer support group in Health Support Australia, and also even your friends, your families. So they can all help you to make changes towards to achieve a better goal for yourself.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Well, look, I don't think any other questions have come through. It was a fantastic presentation. I think something that's really important. A lot of these talks, we can always talk about risk factors, blood pressure, or medications, and all these exercise, and these are also very important topics. But, I think, people need to take their heart health serious and around setting goals. And I guess even during consultations with their cardiologists and things like this, we hear about targets and we hear about these things. So it kind of adds a different perspective on how we can actually go about and do this. And I think it's really relevant and really important for consumers or patients to actually sit down and perhaps write down some goals they'd like to achieve. Like you said, make sure they meet that SMART criteria, and actually look at ways how they could achieve them. And if they don't achieve them, identify ways how they can perhaps modify the goal to make it achievable, or perhaps modify what they're doing to actually perhaps achieve it. So, Wendy, thank you very much. It's a great topic. We look forward to circulating this across our peer support groups where they do actually show these presentations. So something to add to the support material and education material. And I guess if there's any questions that do get filtered through to us, we'll be happy to reach out to you and ask those questions, perhaps if someone wants to take it offline. So, on behalf of Heart Support Australia, thank you again for being our presenter tonight for Heart Support Connect. We look forward to our next presentation to be confirmed shortly, with another Solve CHD presenter. So, follow us on our social media or our online newsletter where we'll announce those dates and speak up very, very shortly. So, have a nice night. Wendy, thank you very much again, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you.